Hey everybody, I've kicked the kids off the internet and I've got my live session to talk to you about kind of a synopsis on what happened at 20 Books. Not just my presentation, but talking a little bit about some of the things that I learned while I was there from the few of the sessions that I was able to get into. You got to remember what I typically do at these conferences is I spend a lot of my time meeting with people, so that kind of takes me out of the general flow of the conference. But generally speaking, I think it was really good. It helped a lot of new authors understand what's involved in making money with their writing. That's something that this conference has always been, really good at focusing on, is letting folks know that, you can make a living off your writing, and if you are prepared to put the hard work in and have some patience, that you can really end up delivering some great results and build a fan base. The folks that I met with, there were a large quantity of folks, just like last year, they're just getting started. And I think the important takeaway for those of you that are really serious about your author career is you need to make sure that you invest that money in your product. You need to have a good product, and you need to understand how that product fits in amongst other products and understand why customers are going to buy your product. There's some table stakes here that you're just going to have to pay, being book covers and good editing, and without that, it's real hard for readers to get past those obstacles if you have a bad cover or there's issues with editing. And the other thing I talked a lot about with authors, especially ones that are in genres where there's an expectation for series, is delivering on the brand promise of the series. It was easy to talk to because a lot of authors are avid readers, and they understand that, if you say you're going to write a trilogy, you better put a trilogy out there. Now, you can stage it in such a way that you're optimizing it for the marketing algorithm of the platform you're launching on. But a big mistake that you can make is hoping that the money you make on books 1 and 2 is going to pay for the following books. And so I think that's a good point for me to kind of segue into what I talked about in my presentation. And the big thing that I was looking at was, first off, some ways to change your thinking. That your business is a tool for helping you take what you love to do in your writing and using the business structures and the tax code and systems to make sure that you deliver the lifestyle that you want to have. And what that lifestyle is different for everybody. But thanks, Zeus. The big takeaway is, it's not just author businesses, it's all businesses are really about positive cash flow. If you're not generating a positive cash flow, yeah, Vinny, it was too bad we didn't get to catch up while we were there. I don't even know if I even saw you when you were in the hallway. Sorry to break away. But every business has to be generating positive cash flow. That cash is going to be what you use to fund future growth in that business. But you can't count on that to be there when you need it, especially in the early stages when you don't have any historical information about how your launches perform. And I'm going to get into how you can do some of that in a second when we talk about the Launch Trough. The other thing I wanted to really get clear with authors is understanding how to build habits that help them to get to where they want to go. It's really cool to have aspirational goals, but in all the businesses that I've been involved in, when things go bad, you need to have systems to help you. And when things go good, you need to have systems to help you. Because what happens is when things are really going well and the business is growing, you bump up against your potential and you get a little overwhelmed and you fall back onto your habits. And if you have systems and habits put in place, you'll make incremental improvement even on those bad days. And then probably the thing that a lot of authors struggle with the most, they don't like the whole thing about taxes and business concepts and structures and legal stuff. They really don't want to learn it. But really these things are designed to be tools for you to get the results you want. The example I use a lot is with the tax code. The tax code, if it was just supposed to be a way for the country to make money, they would just say it's a flat rate and pay. But they don't. There's all kinds of exemptions and deductions and advanced depreciation schedules and all kinds of things that are designed to modify society's behavior, such as making sure that you put money aside for retirement. The single biggest thing we could do for your business is set up a retirement plan like a 401k. And then we have a huge amount of money that we can tax defer into the future, and it can grow in investments tax deferred, allowing you the opportunity to diversify your business. So getting your mind right about those things is really helpful. Now, one of the things I covered in the presentation that I thought should play into everybody's mindset is the idea of the launch trough. So when you go and launch a book, you need to understand that there's working capital needed to do so. So in my example that I use, if we were going to say that everything we do costs $500 or makes us $500 to keep our math simple, meaning we get our cover made for our book, it's $500. To have our editor do our editing is $500. When we get paid, we get $500 of net royalties. Well, as you can see on the chart here, in that first month, if we pay the $500 for our book cover, then we pay the $500 for our, we're just looking at the blue bars at this point for a single book launch. The editing, now we're $1,000 in the hole in month 2. Month 3, even though we've had $500 in sales, we haven't retrieved any cash. Amazon hasn't paid us. So we're still $1,000 in the hole. If you go the next month, now we get our $500 from the previous month. The following month after that, we made another $500. Now we've made a break even. So this launch trough has a depth of $1,000 and a duration of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. So when you're getting ready to launch a book, do you have the wherewithal of capital to go that deep and that long? And if we do a 3-book launch with the same numbers, now you can see the duration only gets 1 month longer, but the depth of that launch trough is $2,500. And a lot of early stage authors don't have that kind of money set aside. They hope that books 1 and 2 will really do well, and that'll generate the money for book 3. And then they're jammed up because of that money's not there and that book is not there, and you now have not fulfilled that brand promise of that 3rd book, or it gets really pulled out and it screws up what you were trying to do with the Amazon algorithm. So you really need to be prepared to do some things, because there's only 3 places where you're going to get your startup capital. It's going to be credit card debt, it's going to be your personal savings, or the retained earnings of the business, the money that the business earns itself. So really think about, is it better for you maybe to push that launch out a few more months and save that money so that you can really do it right? So what I like to do is now talk a little bit about some stuff that I have coming up for the 20 books group, some specials I've got. If you haven't been to my website, Indie Author Alchemy, I've got some stuff here that is designed for you to really educate yourself around the business of writing. So the first thing is this 72-hour author challenge, which is, it's free. You sign up, you get a series of videos over 72 hours, and I walk you through how to think about your brand, how to break your goals down into word count, and then I walk you through how to do your own Launch Trough. So there's a video on that. So that's really helpful, and it's free, and I think applicable to anybody. The next thing that we're doing, and again, we have a special deal on this Sole Proprietor Simplified. This is going to open up January 1st, but there's a couple more days here. What do we got? We got 2 more days where you guys can still get the $69 price. And what this course is designed for is for those of you that are doing $10,000 a year and less and are filling out a Schedule C. You're going to learn how to properly account for your expenses, what expenses you should be accounting for, and how to set up your business and put in those basic skills and habits that I was talking about so that your business is kind of taking care of itself. So that at the end of the year, you can do your tax return and know what your tax liability is going to be. We're opening this up in January. Lisa and I are going to be leading this course. And I think what's interesting about it is because of the way it is, it'll help you in 2018, kind of getting your stuff ready for your tax return on April 15th, and get you set up for 2019 for that business year. Now, the other course we have is the Biz Ops Bootcamp. And this one, again, we're going to be closing up, well, it's right around the same time. So, in a day here, we're running the $199 price. We've had a bunch of people sign up for this. So it's going to be a good-sized cohort. And we run it over 4 weeks where there's some live sessions, and we try and work, have those live sessions to answer your questions. This isn't some BS scarcity thing. Because what we're helping you do is set up your LLC and get it qualified properly with the IRS, there's just some deadlines that they have. And what we're really trying to do is get you positioned well for 2019. This is not going to help you for last year. As far as that's concerned, that ship has sailed. You're going to do that however you've been structured for this year. You're really going to be focusing in this course to get you set up for things to be right for 2019. And we'll run this again at the beginning of the year, but depending on what state you are in, you could get yourself in a little bit of a pickle with timing if they take longer to get your company set up and some things approved. So we really run this thing only a few times a year, aligned with how the IRS would like to see things like your Schedule C, your Subchapter S application coming in. So I hope that if you're looking to do that, you think about that real soon and get signed up, get that good price. And that's a lifetime price. You'll get updates as we go along. So like this year, let me just jump into this, into the the course. So as you see here, this is inside the course. This is the dashboard. You go into this, and we've got these various modules that we've set up for you, and these different topics. As being that we're setting up a business, there's some more complexity to this, getting into some more details how you do things. But like last year, we added this expense module. Very soon, we're going to be adding another bonus module to this once we have things clarified on the qualified business income deduction and being able to figure that out, because on face value it seems pretty simple, but depending on how much you're making and your marital status, it can impact what you actually qualify for. And there may be some ways for you to improve what you can get on that deduction based on how you structure your business. So that's something that is going to be included if you signed up in the previous modules. That'll pop up and you'll be able to take advantage of that. I also know there's a bunch of you that have signed up in previous cohorts that really wanted to get this work done, but book deadlines and life just got in the way. This is a great time to reset and jump into this new cohort and work with them over the next 4 weeks, or from December 1st on, to get your act together for 2019. Because we're really going to be focused on getting everything set up so 2019 is going to be a nice clean year with your new LLC, qualified subchapter S, where all your records are, and you've got a decent plan for how to make money in 2019. So think about that. If you're really at that level above $10,000 a year and you want to start getting organized with your content or your business. And, it's more than just the tax qualification stuff. So, we've got a whole section here on organizational stuff. So if you're a single member LLC, we've got a single member operating agreement template. If you're multi-member, we've got the boilerplate for that kind of stuff. If you have to set up as a corporation, my Massachusetts people, we typically put you into a corporation and then qualify it as an S Corp because it's cheaper than the LLC. We've got all your stuff for doing your banking resolutions. We have a resource center that we've set up for every single state to help you go through setting up the LLC for that particular state. All that stuff is done there. If you are in a state where we haven't gone through it, you're going to actually be able to reach out to us and help. We'll walk you through that, go through that process so that we can get our information up to speed if it's one of the few states left that we haven't done yet. But most of them we've been through. All that stuff is in there for you to use. And really the great thing is this isn't just a general business course. It's specifically focused for authors. So we go back in there and you look in, I think it's documents and agreements here. We have all the operational assets, right? So not just your banking resolutions, but what do you do with your intellectual property and asset assignment? A lot of folks, they go get their copyright, but they never then take the time to assign those assets into the LLC. Well, we've got a template for you to do that. You just fill it out and you do the work. We've got a bunch of checklist stuff for you to use. We walk you through how to use these checklists to stay up to date, and this becomes your tool to become habitual with what you need to do weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly. Confidentiality agreements for who you're working with, whether it's co-authoring or contractors. All that stuff's there for you to use. So I hope that if you are thinking about it, you now see some extra value and kind of how crazy we are that this thing is only $199 for you 20 books people. But really, we want you guys to have these tools so that you can you can build a business that you're proud of and that does right by you to make sure that whatever your lifestyle plan is, whether that's to live the life of a vagabond or buy a big house or put your kids through college, that you can do that. And the most powerful tools you have to do that, after your creativity, right? Because your creativity is what creates the value. But once that value is created and you get the money, the best things that we can do to help you hold on to that cash is use these tools that we have in this program to structure your business in such a way that you're the most tax efficient possible. So I think that's really about it. I don't see a lot of folks with questions. So I will just wrap it up. Thanks for joining.